Welcome to the COMC Community Spotlight Show, of course, presented by the great folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And we've got our old friend, Dr. Billy Kurtz, with us back here on the show. He is the activities director at Camdenton High School, and that is a big job. I'm always stunned when I go look and see all the different things going on at Camdenton, how many working, moving parts you are keeping up with and coordinating all the time.
It is a lot. There's 28 sports at the high school and 14 at the middle school. And, all I have to do is start thinking about how much we've got going on. And I remember the athletes are the ones doing it every day after school. So, yeah, they stay busy.
Yeah, they do. And so do you. And, a lot of times since I'm a sports guy, I love sports, you think about football and basketball and baseball and stuff like that, but there's so much more going on. There's the activities, not just the athletics. And you guys just did the fall musical, I think, which was Between the Lines.
Yeah.
And I heard that turned out just fantastic.
Oh, it was great. Marilyn Ellis, Grant Trandom, a couple kids that you see down the hall, and they're quiet, very friendly. Trandom is a JROTC guy that, you have a certain mentality. You kind of think of him a certain way, and then you see him on the stage. It's just amazing. And there's a whole troop of kids that shine on stage and behind the scenes. That's just a great opportunity for a bunch of kids. It's really neat to see.
That is neat to see, absolutely. And another one of those activity things, speech and debate, right?
Yeah.
Which I know a lot of people know about, but we kind of tend to forget it. And I think you just hosted a big tournament, right?
Yeah, it's first time in a while. Miss Hantelman co-hosted with Lebanon. It was a weird situation, but they made it work really good. And we had kids in suits and pantsuits and dresses. They were all over the place Friday night and Saturday. And at the same time, that was a robotics competition going on that we host every year. So that was this past weekend, and it was great. Kids everywhere. It was a success. Gyms were full, and it was a good weekend.
So Camdenton and Lebanon can work together.
That's right.
Even if it's speech and debate.
Yeah, we don't want to brag about it. We want to feel like it's a rivalry. But
right.
Of course, yeah,
Absolutely.
We work together.
Okay, and you mentioned robotics. I've heard about the robotics program at Camdenton from the first day I moved to the lake. What is the robotics program there?
Well, first, got to give them their proper dues. They take care of themselves completely. They have their own budget, their own list of coaches. I don't manage them at all.
Wow.
But they've got elementary groups, completely different kind of robotics, different things they're doing, but elementary groups at each school. And at the high school, they've got a group of students who they have to be in charge of the product. They have to know everything about it. When they go to contests, they don't just work the contest and try to get balls in certain places and move things around and do it quickly and block others and all what would seem like the athletic part of it.
Yeah.
But they also have to know everything about the machine. The judges come in the trenches and they'll pick a kid and say, tell me about this or that. And those kids have to know. So there's a lot that goes on with those kids and those contests. And it's something that's really cool to see when you just sit back and watch the kids work. You see how much they have to know and how much time they had to put in to make it happen.
Is it really robots? Is that what we're
Absolutely.
talking about here? Or?
Yeah, they get a box of, okay, here's what you have and here's the goal. And they have to make their own robot. And what happens is you get teams, there's lots of little rules, but really they are collecting an object from one spot on the track and they're putting it somewhere else. So they're getting balls and they're putting them in a chute, or they're getting whatever, frisbees, and shooting them on a little rack. But they take the parts that are given and decide how they're going to make their robot and how to make it happen. And you can make a big, tough robot that nobody can knock over. You can make a really fast one. You can try to make it do both. I mean, these guys have made their robots to where they tilt a certain way and can shoot their frisbees or whatever it is a certain direction. And other ones just go up and drop it in. And
wow,
it's nuts to see. And our kids, man, they've got good examples, and Jimmy Jackson sets up a good set of adults, I'm thinking, because every year they've got really, really good machines and the kids know what the heck's going on. It's amazing to see.
It must be, because like I say, and I'm not kidding, I've heard about this robotics program from day one. It must be something else.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's worth seeing.
That's pretty cool. And then you get into the more traditional things. You're into winter sports now, right? So boys basketball, girls basketball. By the way, we've got Camdenton Laker games coming up all winter for you here on Lake TV. But the first few games, we've got the girls home against Osage on the 16th, I believe, Monday the 16th, and then we've got the boys at home against Marshfield on the 17th, and then we've got games in all through December and January and February. But big turnout for the boys basketball program this year. I think, what was it, like 40 kids turned out?
Yeah, there's something like 38 that were on the team at one time, and it's it's always hard for Camden basketball and any school that's got a good football program to have basketball start, and then you got to wait a couple weeks for football to be over. And so they see a natural cut line, they take it. But we had a lot of kids come out from the football team, and they met that cut line. So really, we ended up with a lot of kids on the team. It's fantastic to have people out. No problem with it at all. But there's a lot of boys on the team. Practices are full. That means that coaches are challenged a little bit to make sure people are moving, and you can't get in good shape if you don't have enough people moving at the same time. So they've had to adjust practices a little bit to make that happen. But boys are doing great. They're working very well together, and it's translated into wins so far. They're 3-0, won the Tipton tournament this past weekend, and did a fantastic job. It's really neat to watch them. We do the same thing if there's a loss. You watch the kids and how they work together and what they've learned out of it, and say, wow, that's really going well. But it's easier to believe when they get a win. You say, look, they're working well together. They've made mistakes here and here and adjusted, and it's been so far pretty cool to see those kids do it.
It's so great to see the numbers up in basketball because I think over the years, traditionally, Camdenton basketball has struggled compared to the football program. But I think Coach Edson is really doing a fantastic job and getting people excited and turning out. And the same thing with the girls program, and Coach Caffey just seems to be doing an amazing job there too.
For sure, yeah, she's got bigger numbers than we've had. We've trying to play a freshman schedule, but so many of the teams we play are having problems getting people out. So there's several boys teams that are only playing JV varsity this year, and almost all the girls teams are down to JV varsity. I think with information I got this morning, I think we're down to just 4 games where we can play a freshman girls game, and the rest of our opponents either can't field a freshman team, or they've got our week they happen to have the girls in a freshman tournament, which hasn't happened very often. Most of them just can't play. So, but we're excited to have more younger kids out, and our numbers look good. And with Coach McGuire and Coach Mulder at the lower levels, it helps getting those practices going, those girls excited to play and off rolling.
Yeah, if you don't have the coaches when the kids are younger, it's much harder when they get older, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we're talking with Dr. Billy Kurtz. He is in charge of the activities over there at Camdenton School District. We'll continue to talk with Dr. Billy right after this. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic and 2 pediatricians with same-day appointments available. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone with 5 primary care locations conveniently located across the Ozarks. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. Welcome back to the COMC Community Spotlight Show, talking with our friend Dr. Billy Kurtz. He's the guy that's so busy keeping all the activities and athletics going and coordinated over there at Camdenton. So thank you for taking the time to come join us. You guys have just moved into a new conference, first year in the CMAC conference, which I would think is harder as far as athletics go anyway, a tougher athletic conference than where you were before. You've got some really good programs in there. You got Helias and Jeff City and Rockbridge, Battle, some historically really good competitive schools.
For sure. Yeah, the competition level is high. I think from the very beginning, I think what our head coaches noticed was, hey, we need to be looking at our speed and our strength. We need to really be hitting our off season hard to make sure that our kids are staying up where they need to be to compete. So, our kids are competitors. They're gonna go hard. They're gonna bring those intangibles that make them hard to beat. But on paper, if you just look at athletes, you'd think the CMAC conference is more competitive.
Yeah.
Looking at how people have done in the off season or the postseason here in the fall, Yeah, that's a competitive conference.
Yeah, I mean, you can finish third or fourth in the conference and still be one of the better teams in the state because, just for example, this last football season, Elias went to the state championship game. Rockbridge in Class 6 went to like the quarterfinals, one of the better teams in the state. And that's not talking about several others. So that's awfully tough. We mentioned we've moved past the fall sports into the winter sports. One of those ones that kind of surprises me as a winter sport is swimming, right? Because I don't think of swimming as a winter sport,
right.
But it is in high school, I guess.
Yeah, for girls, the girls' side, it's a winter sport, and our girls still compete an awful lot down in Springfield, down that area. They're actually going today to West Plains, but they go to Foster Natatorium a lot in Springfield. Still will be with a lot of those folks. Without a pool for ourselves, of course, we don't have a home event where we can show them off a little bit, so we encourage people to get down there as much as they can. We will go to the CMAC conference swim meet up in Columbia, and we go to, there's a Como meet that's held up there, the Mizzou meet, and we go up there every year, we always have, but I remember being at Hickman, my first years teaching, I taught at Hickman, and swim was a big deal at that time, and it was brand new to me. We didn't have it, of course, here when I was younger, and knowing that the CMAC has got all that swim history is nice. It helps pull us along a little bit and see how we can compete.
There's another really good competitive school in the CMAC conference is Hickman. I mean, we tend to forget about them. Sure. We've got wrestling as well. I think boys and girls, right?
For sure. Yeah, last year we had a little bit lower numbers in girls wrestling, but it's a full roster this year.
Wow.
They've got a good group. They practice separate from the boys. So we've got a group up in the high school practicing. The boys have a wrestling room down near the soccer field that they practice in, so they're busy all the time. We've got some new gimmicks, some new spirit-raising activities that we try to bring in with wrestling. We've had actually a community member, Zach Beeson, installed electricity for us so that we could put up a spotlight. We've got a spotlight that lowers down at mid-court and shines on the mat, and we wrestle under the light, and it's a pretty cool little deal. It was first time we used it was last week, and it was neat. It was a good little addition. So we've got 2 home meets this week, and then we don't wrestle again at home until late January and once in February.
Wow.
But wrestling's been a surprising win for us already this winter, and a strong roster of kids coming out.
That's cool. And it's kind of, for me, I mean, to me, wrestling is like the most mono sport out there, right? I mean,
There's
it's
no
tough. Yeah, that's right. There's no hiding. And then when I was in high school, which was a million years ago, there wasn't girls wrestling, so that's kind of a new thought for me, but that's really caught on.
It has, yeah. Back when it was combined, it was harder for people to get into, and people had opinion one way or the other. But with girls being separate, it's a big deal. Our girls are athletic, and they are driven, and they want to win. We've had a girl that wrestled all year last year, very competitive, worked hard, but she didn't win a match. But she would tell you that she had several little victories during each match. When she got off her back, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
When she didn't get pinned, that was a big deal. This year, she's already won a tournament in her weight class. And, that kind of lesson that you learn from those kind of struggles and victories and failures and failing on the scoreboard, but winning in the small goals, that's stuff that translates into real life. It's cool to see.
Wow. I mean, and for a high school kid to be that mature, to figure that out,
Yeah.
that she might have lost, the match, but she won a lot of little battles. I mean, that's life right there, right?
Right.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a good life lesson.
If you don't believe that as an adult, that's a struggle. That creates stress. But if you can learn that, that's the stuff we say build character in sports. But you have to be taught that. The coaches have
Yeah.
to know that those are things that are happening. And so there's no moral victories. There's no saying winning doesn't matter, because we want to win.
Yeah.
But the kids have to know you work toward a win by all these big losses, that the little victories that build toward it. And it's real. Otherwise, there's no point in ever doing anything, because someone's going to lose every game.
100%. And that's the whole idea behind high school sports
You
and
betcha.
activities. Okay, so down to our last few seconds. If folks want to get more information, find out what's going on, where do they go?
Easiest thing is go to the Camden High School website, hit the athletics tab, and our schedule's right on there. You can click sports or you can click dates, but it'll show you everything we've got going on. Come on out.
Beautiful. Dr. Billy Kurtz, we love him. You see why we love him, right? Thank you for joining us for the Lake TV COMC Community Spotlight Show.
Download the free Lake TV app.